Welcome everyone. I wanted to do a video about the Chinese New Year, the year of the black water rabbit, and what this actually means to do with our psyche, because I do believe it's following the 29th Kabbalah path, which is ruled by the moon card, because of what's happening in the sky at the time of the new year on January 22nd. I want to go over what's happening in the sky and how this is all relating to this path on the Kabbalah tree to do with the dark night of the soul. So we're going to be seeing a year that is really related to everybody going through their transformation of their soul. Chinese New Year, Year of the Rabbit. They often depict the Chinese New Year with the red and white. And this we know is the rubedo and the albedo in alchemy, right? So it's the last final stage of alchemy, the highest stage. And it's interesting how they're showing red and white is always affiliated with the Chinese New Year. In their celebrations, they dress in red and white, all their tables are red and white. No, similar to Christmas in normal traditions. So, block this. And here we have the 2023 year showing the black rabbit. And it's also known as the cat, year of the cat. Sometimes it's, I think in Vietnamese, it's the cat, but in Chinese, it's the rabbit, but it is a black rabbit. And they're showing here in an article that it is the black water rabbit, starting in January 22nd and running through to February 9th, 2024. Now, I've mentioned this before about why the moon has a relationship with the rabbit. And it's because when you look at the moon, it's known as the moon rabbit. It's all these dark craters on the moon that kind of resemble a rabbit. So in the Chinese folklore, this is what they call the moon rabbit. They also have this, Chinese mythological hare that he is making an elixir for immortality on the moon. Okay, so the whole thing about the moon is that it is a rabbit. Right? So whenever you see a rabbit, it's really referencing the moon. So the water rabbit is gentle, amicable, able to adjust readily to different conditions, but with a weak mindset and principle. That's just in general what the water rabbit year represents. And we see here with the elements, there's 5 elements in Chinese, years of New Year's. Okay, so every year it's a different element and a different animal, but this year it's a water rabbit. But, we see that it's known as a black water rabbit. So they're saying water is black, but it's also azure blue. And what does this mean? There's a relationship with appeasement, freedom, and peace that ties to the water symbol. The negative is coldness, melancholy, and laziness. Negotiations, job interviews, and communication. So it's all to do about information, right? And, it's tying into making people want to fight for freedom. It's other people are going to just want to be peaceful. So this is all tying into this water. Now, the azure blue is related here in this artwork with the moon cycles, right? So I'm really convinced that the black rabbit is tied to the new moon, right? It's when we have a solar eclipse, that would be a new moon. And we do have 2 solar eclipses this year. One is April 20th, and it's just going over Australia. The other one is October 14th, and this one's going over North America and South America. And I'll show you where they are. I found this interesting. They have the Chinese dragon here as part of their logo now, because we're coming into the lunar year of the Chinese New Year, which is all tied to the moon. And they're basically saying, yeah, the dragon is the moon, right? It's the serpent, the dragon in the sky, because the planets travel on the ecliptic. The moon travels up and down really quickly, so it's like a serpent. And then when you get a solar eclipse, it looks like a snake eye, right? With the dice, and you throw your dice, you get snake eyes. This looks like a snake eye. So this is the April 20th solar eclipse, and it's really just bordering into Aries on the cusp of Pisces. Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces. They rule Pisces. So this is why a lot of kind of our relationship with our soul is happening right now. We are already in a strong 12th house aspect with these two planets there. And it's just tying into more with it being a black water rabbit moon year. Okay? It goes more into all to do with the moon because the rabbit is the moon. Okay, we also have Mercury and Uranus in Aries. This is your crown chakra. This is, the Lamb of God, and Mercury is your mind, and Uranus is heaven. It's all to do with being out of this realm. Okay, so there's a heaviness of kind of spiritual aspect going on with this solar eclipse right here, all to do with ascending. Okay, now this one in October 14th is happening right on the Spica star in Virgo. Now, Virgo has an aspect of the harvest with Mercury there as well. And this is all to do with the Washington Monument aligns to this star. Okay? The White House would be Arcturus, and then Regulus is the Capitol building. This is the Washington Triangle that they've aligned it to. Now, this Zavi Java is the ascension star. When we have the Enki comet there, in conjunction. So this is really strong because Enki is the Anunnaki god that made humans psychokinetic and gave us DNA that would help us awaken. That's the story. Okay? So this is really powerful. That's happening in October. So the whole year is, very symbolic of spiritual aspects to our journey. Now, what's happening at the beginning of the new year on January 22nd, we have a Venus-Saturn conjunction. Now, this is huge because you got to remember that Venus is born from Saturn's testicles that were thrown into the ocean. And, she was born in the froth of the sea, in the foam of the sea. Okay? Now, this is Capricorn. This star here relates to the karmic wheel card in the tarot. And the moon at the beginning of the new year is a black moon. So we got the black rabbit in conjunction with this karmic wheel and, this birth of Venus. But Saturn rules Capricorn, and he's cold, the hard father. So he's going to be more powerful. There's going to be a little bit more coldness to all this because of him being in his constellation. You got to remember Capricorn is the devil card in the tarot. Okay? So this is all happening in this devil, aspect, and, the hard father, the cold father. The sun is there, bringing it some warmth. Okay? But Pluto, which is your soul, is almost in conjunct with the sun. He'll be getting into Capricorn next year, 2024. He'll be moving in here, so in the spring of 2024. But this year, he's still in Sagittarius. So he's not quite into the the Saturn life lesson is all related to Capricorn. Okay, when you take your wheels and you want to do your Saturn returns, this is all relating to Capricorn's aspect of what lessons he gives you, and this is your path of your soul. So this is really intense, and this is where Pluto was. Well, he was in Capricorn on the founding of the United States. So he's done one cycle since the founding of the United States. Okay? It's taken him that long to get around. So here you can see Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. We see Venus in conjunct with Saturn and the moon. You see the sun there. You see Uranus, and Mercury's there. No, he's not there then. That was when the eclipse was. No, just Uranus is there. And this is all the first day of the new year. And Mars is in conjunction with the left eye of Taurus. I want to go into that a little bit more of why that's so important, because it's the Ein. Okay, Ein in the Kabbalah is known as the Ein Sof. Ein Sof, it's the highest form of the highest level of the Kabbalah. Okay, it's at the top of the tree. Is used to describe the cycle of time and its circular in motion. It is understood as God prior to his self-manifestation in the production of any spiritual realm. Ein signifies a great circle, the vacuum of pure spirit moved and created the Ein Sof, or infinity. So it's really the one and all, okay? The where everything was created from, okay? Known as the Ein Sof in the Kabbalah. Okay? So there you go. It's the endless one, the unending. A little bit like the Ouroboros, which is the serpent. You know, it's all tying into the moon. The star at the tail of Capricorn, which is the name of that star. Oh, it's gone out of my head right now. Let's just want to go back here and get that. Where was it? I had it here. Deneb al-Jedi. Okay. So that star is where Neptune was found. Okay, so that's interesting because Neptune is like the shaman. He sees through the veil. He's metaphysical. He's related to music. He's basically Poseidon, right? He's the king of under the ocean. Okay? And this is where they found Neptune on that star at the end, at the tail of Capricorn. Okay? It happened in September 23rd, 1846. So that area is really important. So it's interesting how Neptune is related to the karmic wheel, because that star is the wheel of fortune. Okay? It's the tarot card. They say here it's with the letter Yod, but that's not true. Okay, it's actually Yod goes with the Hermit card. This is the wheel of fortune. Okay, star. And they're saying here, those in the tail are like Saturn and Jupiter. Okay, so there's a strong Saturn aspect to that star, and Saturn is there. So it's really to do with our life lessons, what's going to be happening this year. Now, here's the moon card that rules the path between Saturn and Venus on the Kabbalah tree. Okay, so when you understand the Kabbalah tree, you can start to see when we have conjunctions with the different sephiroths, that is what is going to be manifesting in this realm. Okay, so with a Saturn-Venus conjunction, it rules is ruled by the moon card, the 29th path on the Kabbalah tree. It's the 18th number of the major trump. It's the moon. It portrays Luna rising between the two towers, one light and the other dark. So these are the towers. A dog and wolf are baying at the rising moon, and in the foreground is a pool of water of which emerges a crawfish. So this is a crawfish, also like a scorpion. Sometimes you see it like a scorpion. Okay? And it says a wolf and a dog. Between the towers, a path winds, vanishing in the extreme background. Okay, so you see the path running between here. Court de Gebelin, this is what the tarot cards that Manly P. Hall is talking about in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. This is not the Rider-Waite tarot, it's the Court de Gebelin, which is a French version. It sees in this card another reference to the rising of the Nile and states on the authorities of Pausanias that the Egyptians believed the inundations of the Nile to result from the tears of the moon goddess, which falling into the river swelled its flow. So these are the tears, I guess, coming from the moon. These tears are seen dropping from the lunar face. Court de Gebelin also relates the towers to the pillars of Hercules, beyond which, according to the Egyptians, the luminaries never passed. So he's saying like all the planets, which are the luminaries, never got past these gates. Okay? He notes also that the Egyptians represented the tropics as dogs who, as faithful doorkeepers, prevented the sun and moon from penetrating too near the poles. So, like, are these the poles? And then these dogs are preventing the sun and moon from getting out of this realm, right? It's like interesting. It's like it's holding the planets in between the two poles. The crab or crawfish signifies the retrograde motion of the moon. So the moon every month cycle is like in sidereal's 27 days. So it doesn't quite get to its same location every month because the month is 30 days, right? So it has a retrograde motion because of that. The moon doesn't go retrograde. It never goes backwards, right? Like the planets do. This card also refers to the path of wisdom. Man, in his quest of reality, emerges from the pool of illusion. So this is the pool of illusion of what this realm is. We're starting to realize it's all an illusion. After mastering the guardians of the gates of wisdom, he passes between the fortresses of science and theology and follows the winding path leading to the spiritual liberation. So one is science and one is theology. And this gives you the spiritual liberation once you see that they're kind of an illusion, right? They're not separate. They're actually all part of the illusion. His way is faintly lighted by human reason, the moon, which is your emotions, right? Which is but a reflection of the divine wisdom. In the pseudo-Egyptian tarot, the tarots are pyramids. The dogs are black and white, respectively. So these would be pyramids. The moon is partly obscured by clouds. That's in the Egyptian tarot. The entire scene suggests a dreary and desolate place in which the mystery dramas of the lesser rites were enacted. So this is like, yeah, a really kind of challenging path. It's to do with the corporal reality path. It means you're very, connected to the material world, and you got to see through the illusion of the material world. Okay. Now, this is part of the stuff I put together for the last lesson. We also had some really lovely charts that Amber made up with all the Kabbalah tree and the tarot cards, and we have all the paths right beside it, so you can just look at that chart and see all the paths from one glance. And I put all these cards together with all the information from Manly P. Hall. So it's a really good class if you want to understand the Kabbalah, how to see which paths, conjunct with each other and what that means. You understand the whole 22 tarot cards by this class. So, and it has great charts. I also had artists create a twofold key with a sword going through it, showing you how the astrology all aligns to the Kabbalah. Okay. The Smashing Pumpkin, I started listening to them. Somebody sent me one of their songs and I pulled this song up to listen to it. It's called Tonight Tonight. Now this is interesting because they're going to the moon and then going back to Earth. Now all this symbolism was from an old silent film era that they were replicating. And there's all these kind of funny men on this moon. I think they're at the moon. They went to the moon, because you'll see why when you go back and look at the silent films. I'll show you them. And this is SS Millis. There's the moon. This is the guy that created the silent films. When I saw this on the boat, I bet, oh, I better go Google that, and bang, soon enough, the voyage to the moon, right? So that's what the Smashing Pumpkins was just referencing to this movie. So go check this movie out. It's a really short little film. I think it's like 11 minutes long. And, it's the trip to the moon, which is in 1902. And it's kind of funny because, it's like ended up happening in reality. They went to the moon supposedly, but I thought this was cute. Inside the movie, they show people as the stars. Okay, and that's what you want to be, the star card on the tarot. That's part of your illumination. One of the other movies he did was called The Kingdom of Fairies, and they have these crawfish, scorpions here. They have Pisces, your the two fish, which is your journey of your soul. Dark night of your soul is ruled by 12th house, ruled by Pisces. They have Neptune up here, right? So Neptune is all to do with your dark night of the soul. Neptune is associated with the moon as well in esoteric astrology. And then we also have Venus here, and she's in her clam shell. Okay, so the whole journey is right here, all to do with getting to the other realm. It's into the Neptune realm. Okay, now when I started thinking about the rabbit, and it's a black rabbit, which is the solar eclipse, I was thinking, well, a lunar eclipse would be a red rabbit. So I just Googled red rabbit, and oh wow, which came up here was the Sacramento airport. And this is this giant rabbit, 56-foot long aluminum sculpture. And this was in a $1 billion terminal that they created. And they created this big giant rabbit there. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And 5 and 6 ties to our DNA, right? It's very important numbers. It's the pent and the hex part of our DNA. And they're showing here in this little video about it all, it's saying that the leap signifies motion. So the rabbit is jumping into a suitcase. Okay, but it's a granite suitcase. Okay, it leaps into this granite suitcase that has like a vortex in it. Okay, and this kid is saying it's a magic trick. I'm throwing money into it, and it's like a vortex, a swirling. It's like it's like the cosmos, right? Like it's just like another universe. It's like going. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like this is all to do with the sky. So here we have the music to the ears. Okay, they're calling this is piece of artwork here. Travelers can compose email messages, which are translated via computer code into musical notes and played from the horn. Now, this is totally tying into, the judgment card, which always has horns, horn playing, right? And so here they're saying it's a computer code, right? It's all to do with the computer. So sometimes I'm thinking like this tree is all to do with capturing, souls, right? And you're either going to go back to the tree, to the harvest, or you're going to escape and jump, like the rabbit. You're gonna, escape and get to another realm. Okay. So hanging above the entryway, past the security checkpoint, is a striking piece called Acorn Steam, an anagram for Sacramento. This sculpture by David Lipsky combines 3 oak tree trunks adorned with 5,000 hand-cut Austrian crystals. So yeah, I'm starting to think the tree is like part of, like, either go back to the tree, like is the tree like AI, right? It's like part of the whole computer system. Now this, I Googled red rabbits on YouTube and the Shins came up. There's a whole song. Go check out this song. There's lyrics about, how you were kind of trapped in the illusion and, there's a way out. Okay, so go check out those lyrics. Also, when I was putting this together, I was thinking, oh, rabbits. Oh, yeah, this book that I read when I was younger, Watership Down. They turned it into a movie, right? And they're saying here it ties into mythology. Um, and these rabbits were living in their burrows, and then the burrows were getting destroyed by a machine. So the big machine is coming and destroying them. Right. So I was so addicted to this book. I couldn't stop reading it when I was a young teenager. And they turned it into a movie. This was the book cover I remember, this black rabbit. They had the rabbit in the movie here in front of the moon. And then they also have him as a spirit rabbit. And he does float around in front of the moon in the movie. But he's got red eyes. So that ties into the lunar eclipse with the red. But, yeah, it's all there. They're showing you the rabbit, Don't really want to follow the white rabbit, I think, because the white rabbit is like he's addicted to time. He's always worrying about time, right? He's saying, I'm late for a very important date, and because he can't figure out how to get out of here. But maybe the red rabbit is the path that jumps you through the suitcase and makes you a time traveler, right? So the year of the rabbit, they're saying here that it's lucky. Okay, they're saying longevity, peace, and prosperity is the symbol of the rabbit. So the whole thing is to kind of work with your soul path, try to think about if you are going through the dark night of the soul right now, or if you're coming out of that whole journey and starting to see the illusion and not be angry about the illusion, or think that we've been fooled, or this is like some type of prison and it's all evil. I really hope that you can see through that illusion as well. I don't see this as a game where you can't win. Okay, there's this whole theory of a soul trap and that your mind gets wiped. And I do believe your conscious mind does get wiped, but your subconscious mind does not get wiped. It's your memories in your DNA. There's no way that you would live your whole life and seeing all these kind of coincidences because you're not able to get out. It's like breadcrumbs that you've left for yourself so that it awakens you. And the whole way of getting out of this realm is just to go inward and see that this is all an illusion. But to think that there's no way out, or there's that this is all nefarious, is kind of sad, because it's like all the religious texts, all the artwork, everything is showing us, every movie you watch, it's like everything's showing us the powers within, and there is freedom through that. So I don't see it as a trap. I see it as a game. And, a lot of times they say, oh, well, if it wasn't a trap, if it was really a place to learn from, you wouldn't have your mind wiped, because how can you learn if you don't know what you're trying to learn? But it's not about learning, it's more about remembering. This is all about memory, right? Because the rabbit represents memory. Okay, the fourth house is home, is the house of home, and this is ruled by Cancer, and it has to do with your ancestral memory and your whole ancestral line and all the trauma that's gone through your line. Okay, and you have to remember that trauma, bring it to the forefront, so you're not repressing it, bring it out, convert it through your enlightenment, through your solar plexus, through your energy field, and then push it down into the earth, and so that it can heal itself. Okay, so that you can then manifest a better future for yourself and for the collective, right? That's the whole purpose of why we're here, and we are awakening because we're like vessels to transmute the dark energy. Now, you don't come here to learn, you come here to remember and to live experiences to help you remember. So most people that are awakened at this point have had a lot of trauma. Okay? So it's not like you've been punished because you've had that trauma. You might have even picked that life lesson for yourself so that it would waken you. Okay? Because trauma has more of a tendency to have more deeper thought, wondering why it's happening to you. And if your life is just la-di-da-di-da, all perfect, your tendency is to not to awaken. So it's more about experiencing this realm and all the different aspects of this realm. Maybe your last life, it was really positive and super easy. Maybe this life you have more trauma. It's all part of your own path so that it helps you awaken. Okay. So once you awaken, you've achieved what you're trying to do. And then you have to transmute the darkness and turn it into light. And that's by kind of enjoying the game, not being angry at the game. So that's the whole message. And I do believe that this whole year is all about, remembering, because water holds memory, and the rabbit is tied to the moon, which is represented by water, right? And then the moon card is ruled by Pisces, which is represented by the 12th house, all to do with your psyche and the dark night of your soul. Okay, so it's all to do with your soul's journey and kind of cleansing and remembering. That's what this year is about. Okay, so that's a lot to say, but I'm just saying that, be kind to yourself, work with Epsom salt baths and treating yourself well. And by doing that, then you'll have the compassion to help other people that are going through their dark night of the soul, and let them kind of experience their experience. It's not to say they have to be at the same level as you or same understanding as you. They just have to go through the experience of this realm. So that, it's be kind to yourself, ground, do sun gazing, at the sunrise and sunset, and all the healing tools that you can use to help you stay at peace and at some type of higher level of vibration, so you don't let this illusion take you down. Okay, so that's my prediction of what this Chinese water black rabbit year is going to be. It's going to be a lot of people going through their dark night of the soul. Okay, so just enjoy and take care of yourself. Okay, so wish you all the best, and we'll do another class in another week or so. 2 weeks after the last one I did, I'll announce it with another video and let you guys know. It's all going to be to do with the Hebrew letters, and also how it all ties into the Book of Formation. Is another chart that we had done, Amber did, and it's really good because it all ties to the body parts, how all the tarot cards and the life paths on the Kabbalah tree tie to different parts of your body. So if you're having problems with certain parts of your body, you need to work on that path. Okay, so it's a really good modality to work with your own physical health. So I hope that information is there for you guys anytime you need it. You don't have to join the live classes. You can come and get it whenever you want, but it's fun. The live classes are fun because we can have discussions after and start to do some sharing. So it's all good. So anyhow, thanks for all your support. And I hope you guys have a really happy Chinese Year of the Rabbit, Water Rabbit New Year. Take care. Bye.